Hi, everybody. Welcome to Subconscious Sundays. I'm your host, Rev April Kling. And with me, as always, is the wonderful Timothy Freeman. Hello, Tim.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Great to be here with you.
Very nice to be here with you as well. And today, it's a pretty serious topic. It has big, scary words in it: abuse, abandonment, and algorithm. So, this week's question for the lunchtime poll, as we call it, got I don't know. I mean, it was a wide variety of responses, but there were a limited number of responses this year or this week. And as we're winding up the year, it's kind of a slow time for all this sort of stuff anyway. A lot of people aren't really thinking deeply this time of year. They're just resting. And also, there's a lot of people who are experiencing really deep emotions. And I think it's a weird and wild time to be on the earth during the solstices. Here in the northern hemisphere, it's the winter solstice. So happy solstice, everybody, wherever you are. Summer solstice to those of you watching in the southern hemisphere. And today for us, for Tim and myself, well, more for me than for Tim, I would think, because you're sort of experiencing the same length of day as always there in Hawaii, aren't you?
There's variance. I'm north of the equator,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not, the swing is not as broad. So it's very interesting being
You have,
raised and
yeah. Yeah, you and I have lived in Texas where the swing wasn't as broad. We've also both lived in Seattle where the swing is massive. Ireland's swing is even more massive than that. So I have barely seen the sun for the last few days. And it's starting to affect my mood. I am so grumpy and, dare I say, a bit bitchy. And I got a little snarky in the responses this week, and I hope I didn't hurt any feelings, but
Well, this is on topic.
it is. It is. So this week's question was, in general, how does being on social media feel for you? What emotions are most present when you're online? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just make a blanket statement about most of these comments. Most, not all. Most of these comments were so avoidant, it actually annoyed me. Like, most of these comments were like, I'm not going to talk about my emotions. I'm just going to talk about what I do online. And I will say that one comment in particular really names this very well. We'll get there, but let's just jam through what everybody had to say. I'm not going to like pass judgment on anybody openly, but bear in mind that this is all in good fun, even for me, even when I get a little annoyed or snarky, it's all in good fun. It really is. And I'm not like
Let me
angry at anybody.
interject though too, because like with social media, we're gonna get into this, but when people are on social media, I've noticed they don't necessarily like it in particular ways, but they don't want to necessarily talk about that while they're on there, while they're doing it.
Right. Right. And this is the general experience at the Subconscious Sundays show. Like all of our lunchtime polls, like they have they are experiencing what we're talking about today, right? Like people are very vulnerable here and it's lovely, but not everybody can be. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you'll see which ones are. So in general, how does being on social media feel for you? Not what do you do on social media? What emotions are most present when you're online? This actually answers the question, but I don't think takes it very seriously, which is like John Hamm dancing in the club from Alex. You have to do. Are you aware of this meme,
No,
Tim?
but
Okay, well,
I'm visualizing this scene, John Hamm
mhm,
dancing in Da Club.
yeah. So it's a meme. It's a really popular meme right now of John Hamm in a club dancing with all these like party lights on him, and he's clearly like partying too hard, you
Oh,
know.
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's how he
all right.
feels when he's on social media. Okay, got it.
That's how he feels.
Yep.
That's great. I love it. I love it. All right. And then Breed here says, I absolutely love it. It can be addictive, but only if it's a replacement for relationships and fulfilling work. This is so wise. If you already have this, then it's a pleasant tool to connect with people. Yes. Very honest, very inclusive answer. Thank you, Breed.
Now, I want to say though, man, this is a tricky subject, but it is addictive, even if you have a good relationship and fulfilling work. I'm just gonna like counter that.
Yeah, actually, you got it. Yes. Phones in general are addictive, even if you're not using social media. Games are addictive. Yeah.
Correct.
Even if you have the best job in the world.
Okay. It's all designed that way.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads into perfectly what this next one says. While it's an important tool, it's still a tool made by terrible people with certainly not noble intentions. From Sam. So Sam does have, if we're going to get on the topic of like fulfilling, honest, like life engaging work, Sam is definitely somebody who has that. And it's important to note because that response is going to be folded into what I have to say about it for sure. And then Kat says, curiosity. So she mentions that she lives in a very isolated place, which I do as well. And I think, Tim, you live somewhat isolated as well, physically from other people. Curiosity. I know there's a world out there and I care about the people in it, even if I'm not participating as heavily as I used to. So again, a very good, honestly emotional answer, right? And then Bear, our lovely Bear, talks about something that we definitely hope to approach today. You know, she nails it. Mostly I feel good. I consciously avoid the hate. She names like specific things in her answer that like she focuses on when she's on social media. And Bear is somebody that can hone her mental capacities to just focus on these things, right? But she also throws in there not being on them is bad for business these days, but probably better for mental health. And they are a bit of a time suck and quite addictive. Another mention of it being addictive. Andrea says, and a lot of people liked this response. A lot of people like this one got the most positive response of all the answers from everybody that responded. It's a mixed bag. On one hand, I love the connections, and on the other, it's numbing. So Andrea is somebody that depends on social media a lot for running her business. So there we go on that. And then Leslie names that she feels both connected and masked. And I think that is, yeah. Now, Leslie's somebody who doesn't rely on social media to run a business. Leslie is somebody who's on social media to connect. So this is important because all of these things need to be folded in. And then probably my favorite answer, but also the one I was snarkiest about because I think of all people, he can handle it. Abdul just put in a shrug emoji.
Yeah. Well, hey, honest, right? Like numbing.
Like I think I'm going to start with that response today because combining that with Sam's response, I'll go back to that. While it's an important tool, it's a tool made by terrible people with certainly not noble intentions. If you're not aware of how you feel when you're on social media, now Abdul's not on social media a lot, and he is pretty much primarily using it for connecting. But if you're not aware of your emotional state when you're on social media, you are probably not using it very much, or you're not using it very consciously. Now, in Abdul's case, he doesn't use it very much. But Sam mentions that it was designed to be a tool for people to connect with not noble intentions. So the idea of being on social media a lot and it being very addictive, by nature, they want you not knowing how you feel about it when you're on it. They want you numbing out. They want you in a hypnotic state. They
Now,
want
I hate
you
to
in a,
interrupt, April. I want to
yeah,
I want
no,
to
it's okay.
pause right there and interject
Hmm.
because speaking of noble intentions, we just want to set a few little ground not ground rules, but if you're just joining us for Subconscious Sundays, we have some intentions that we like to
Oh my gosh,
um,
I forgot.
express here. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
it's
let's dive
something we
right
usually
in.
do every time, but
Sorry.
let's just fill in
Yes.
our new listeners here. We have Subconscious Sundays. We try to make this a fun and entertaining, or at the very least, laid back and easy way to talk about potentially heavy and stressful topics.
Yes, and we're open and inviting, welcoming to those who have questions or ideas to respectfully bring those into the conversation.
And this has become our weekly ritual with you all. We gather our shared communities here in an online sacred space, and so happy to have you all here to share our knowledge while hearing your responses, as we
And
just
our
did.
core values are always to be respectful of everyone's individual journey, rooted in compassion for ourselves and others, promoting growth and expansion, and as always, creating this beautiful, supportive community. We're so glad that you are here and watching. Um, yeah, forgot to totally do that today. Sorry about that.
All good.
But we feel very passionately about this topic. I feel very passionately about this topic, and I know you do too. And before I start like expounding on it, and we've already given everybody else's feedback from the people who watch the show. Um, yeah, it's important to set the intentions. So what I will say is that, to continue my thought, it's a tool made for, on the surface, very good intentions, but underneath the surface, not so good intentions, right? Made by people who are really, really keeping social media what it is out of greed. And I think everybody knows that. And we're all trying our best to circumvent those intentions of the people of who created it and the people who are on designing it on an ongoing basis to be more addictive. Now, like I said, their whole point is to make you feel a little disconnected from yourself. And I think that when we're more connected in these responses, you can see when we're more connected with ourselves and are connected to our emotional state, or connected to our lives and our jobs and our communities, social media has, and connected to our intentions, social media has a purpose. It's a tool, and it's used for that tool. Without that connection, though, it's numbing, it's addictive, and it causes us to be disconnected from ourselves and from one another. Now, I want to remind everybody of an episode we did a few months back called Idols and Ideals that Tim and I did. And that episode talked about the idea that was introduced to me by Katie Nimatuna, who said that on social media, we create idols of ourselves to be revered. And I want to go into that topic a little bit further by saying that on social media, we are on, and we've also did an episode first season on roles and masks on social media, where they're here to wear masks and we're here to play roles with those idols that we created of ourselves. Now, more often than not, because of the limitations of Western civilization's like ability to be storytellers and the very limited roles we allow ourselves in Western culture, and the uncomplicatedness of our roles, those roles tend to be hero, villain, victim. We've talked about this at much length on this show. So when we're on social media and we're disconnected from ourselves and we're disconnected from other people and we're disconnected from the idea of that our ego is in charge when we're on social media, we tend to play these roles of hero, villain, victim. So in a way, social media is like the dreamscape, except that I would venture to say it's more like a lucid dreamscape. It's a dreamscape where you have the ability to make decisions for yourself if you maintain consciousness. So lucid dreaming is this idea that you go into the dream space instead of it passively happening to you, like most nighttime dreaming seems to be for people. You go into the dream state. Oh, I just had a fly land on my forehead. That is wild.
I thought that was on my screen. I was about to.
No, that is so weird. Hmm. I wonder what that means. Hello, little fly. Now it's just sitting on my desk watching me. Maybe it's
Tuning in.
Tuning in, watching Subconscious Sunday. Yes. Hello. It's very much alive, just sitting there. How weird. Anyway, there is this idea that when we're on social media, we are in this lucid dreamscape and we're able to be very conscious. Now, as you can see, there are some people who are more conscious of what they're on social media to do, conscious of their own intentions. And there are people who are not as conscious, right? Or don't really feel like they're on there fully and authentically. So in this dreamscape, we have a lot of decisions to make. And if we're making those from a place of being in a role of hero, we're going to be in a role where we are going into this idea that we're getting a lot of activism work done when really we're just kind of shouting out to a big echo chamber. That's how that can look. There's other examples, but that's the most prevalent one that I see. If we're going onto social media as villains, we're going to be going onto social media to troll, to be to play devil's advocate for people and cause people frustration. We're going to be going onto social media to start arguments, to not take things very seriously that people are saying in good faith, and to act in bad faith, basically. And if we're going on social media as victims, we're there to play this role of woe is me, everything sucks, and get a lot of pity out of people. And maybe our goals for that sort of thing is connection. They're bids for connection, or our goals for those things are to like get donations to a cause or support for some sort of like a GoFundMe or what have you. Now, I hope that I'm coming across as neutrally about this as I possibly can, because I'm not saying that all of this is bad. I'm not saying all of this is good. I'm just saying this is what it can look like. And if we're doing this from a place that is very disconnected from ourselves and is very without intention and without consciousness, this can become very, very, very addictive very quickly. And it can also become what feels an awful lot like an engagement with our core wounds. The name of the show, Abuse, Abandonment, and Algorithm, is where this comes in here. If we dealt with a lot of abuse, and that is a part of our core wounding, the part of our early childhood and early life experiences, we may be going on to social media in order to act out these core wounds, in order to lash back out at those who abused us, or in order to like put ourselves in this kind of scapegoaty role to be abused. And it really is
right?
subconscious.
Like maybe not,
yes, very disconnected from ourselves, very unconsciously putting ourselves into these roles to like get into arguments where people heap abuse on us. Now, I'm never going to sit here and say that it's anybody's fault to get abused. That's never going to be a message I say. But I am going to say that reenacting abuse is something that we can sometimes do if we come from a place where that feels normal to us. And it's an unconscious, subconscious drive that we need to make ourselves aware of. And if we're coming into this place where our core wound is abandonment, especially this seems to show up for people who are running a business online. And I'm going to just out there admit that these two dynamics, and I don't consider myself to be like a victim of abuse or abandonment in my core childhood, like in any kind of like grandiose way, right? I'm really trying to say that I have been that reenactor of my own sense of feeling abused or neglected. And I have noticed, especially in marketing my business, especially in marketing what it is I do for a living, that I tend to go into this cycle on social media where I feel abandoned by the algorithm, where I feel like I'm being left out of the conversation, that I'm not getting noticed, that I'm not getting the kind of likes I would like or the engagement that I would like. I'm not getting as many comments as other people. I don't have as many followers as other people. And it's this abandonment wound. And I think the point of bringing this up today, abuse and abandonment, is that if we're going into social media for some sort of cause or some sort of reason beyond intention setting, like really conscious intention setting, it can be so easy to get sucked into this wound reenactment stuff. I know that in the early days of social media, I was really wrapped up into getting into arguments with people online. And most of those arguments were going to be ideological or political. I outgrew that for the most part. And now I just block and disengage. But I still feel triggered when people get nasty with me online. And I also still feel this sort of like teensy bit of resentment when, say, like we don't get as many views on an episode of Subconscious Sundays as another episode that I think is equally as good. Or if I feel like some of my posts that are really vulnerable or just not getting as much attention as something that is really just playful and silly. It's so important for me to set that sort of stuff aside so that I can get the things done online that I want to do, which is connect with people and put my message out there. I mean, this stuff is pretty permanent. If I don't have any viewers on a show that are live, on an episode of Subconscious Sundays that are live, it's on the internet forever. So people will catch up. They'll have that opportunity. And every post that I create, people will see it eventually if it's the time to see it. And the algorithms are being geared more and more to trigger this sort of stuff. And you see it all the time, especially on that new, formerly the Twitter one, that Meta came out with Threads to kind of mock the Twitter one, right? Called X now, which just, sorry. There I go. So I see it a lot on Threads where people are just like fussy about the algorithm. Like, the algorithms are changing. What does this mean for my business? And I know that a lot of people are trying to game the system, but it looks an awful lot, or it can look an awful lot like, how do I achieve and keep achieving in this world so that my parents will finally notice me and acknowledge that I am a whole and worthy person? Are we engaging with these social media platforms in the way that we would engage with a parent that didn't give us what we need and didn't fulfill our needs? Yeah. So I'd like us to, as a peace advocate, as somebody who's trying to create more peace in the world, I would like for us to engage with social media in a way that is very clear and very open about the fact that we're here to meet a need, and that we are also potentially, as a secondary goal or maybe a primary goal, to also meet needs. I like to be on social media a lot to offer encouragement, to offer a listening ear. So that's helping meet other people's needs. And when I see people that are like, on their kind of victim role kind of stuff, and they need somebody to talk to, they need somebody to help them, I'm there to help. I like to offer that help, but I don't want to get into the entanglement of playing some sort of role or wearing some sort of mask. And I certainly don't like the idea of creating an idol of myself, even though it's somewhat inevitable on social media. I don't like that idea of creating this falseness of who I'm not. And authenticity, you hear this a lot on people who are complaining about algorithms. Authenticity is rarely rewarded. What is rewarded on the algorithm is repetition. And I don't want to say mockery, but like repetition, and then also like being a copycat, like using other people's material to like create your own, or making something so similar to somebody else's. That does get rewarded in an algorithm, whereas originality, not so much. If you're out there creating really authentic, really original stuff, it's not going to probably get noticed. Whereas maybe it would have in the beginning days of social media when the algorithm wasn't so engineered. So I just want to leave that as my final thought, because if we're on there to be honest with ourselves and others, if we're on there with honest intentions and authenticity and a true desire for connection, then it's not going to matter how this triggers us. It's not going to matter how little or how much abandonment we feel. If there are better and more direct ways to connect, and we could be more leaned into those ways to connect. And social media is really just there. We have to claim it for ourselves, and we have to claim it to be what we're there to do and maintain that consciousness. Otherwise, we can get swept in to numbness and addiction. And that's pretty much what I'm here to say today. And the fly flew away, but I guess that's what the fly came here to. Right on my third eye. What the heck is that about?
I really like your main point there, how we do need to keep in mind why we want to be engaged on these platforms, because it is so easy to get swept into either, like you said, reenacting some wound, or trying to get some unmet need met through this way that maybe isn't just going to meet it. And it's so interesting, because it's interesting to hear your take on this, because when we came up with this topic or whatever, and we were kind of talking about it, I really kind of went in a whole different direction myself with thinking about this. And I was just thinking about self-inflicted abuse and abandonment as a result of our participation with social media, where abuse is just this comparison trap, right? We are abusing ourselves because we're not as we don't have as many likes, we're not as pretty, we're not as blah blah blah, right? And so it's easy, very all too easy, to flip into really nasty self-talk with this kind of thing, which is why teenagers kill themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's why Australia banned social media for teenagers. This is not abstract stuff here. And then abandonment, what do you think scrolling, and I'm not trying to be nasty or anything, but it's flipping the channels. It's abandonment. It's self-abandonment. And that's kind of the angles I immediately came to with this. But, all of this. And so it's such a complicated, we should really do another episode where we talk about this from a different angle, because there were so many of the responses that we got. I really appreciate everybody who responded to this. Honestly, and it's so funny too. You said some of the responses almost irritated you because you felt like they were maybe not honest or didn't really get into the, you wanted the emotion. You wanted people to really examine and notice, what do you feel when you're on social media? And so I just want to send that invitation out again to everyone who's watching this. How are you feeling, present tense, when you're on social media? It's gonna vary. You're gonna be delighted, you're gonna feel you're connected to the people who, you're gonna see all that. And then you're also it's a mixed bag, whoever that was said, right? So
Andrea,
I just really like your main point, how it's helpful to set your intention for how you're going to participate on these platforms. And that's really one of the main bulwarks or guards we have, for guardrails we have for participating with this wild social experiment in a way that doesn't destroy our psyche.
Right. I mean, it's a dream world. There's a reason why it's called meta. It's supposed to be a metaphysical experience, and we have to treat it that way. In the dream space, we have to, it's not a mandate. In the dream space, I prefer to, and I recommend that people treat their dreams as a place to learn about themselves, and to treat dreams as something that is an opportunity to engage with the subconscious and understand it better. I feel like meta offers us that invitation, but maybe not in a way that is intended by the people who design it, because they are designing it to evoke our emotions. And as I'm always saying about dream work, we have to pay attention to the emotions that our dreams evoke, because it changes the meaning of everything. Like if one of us sees a clown in our dream, it means something completely different to somebody who sees a clown who's deathly afraid of them. Some of us think clowns are funny. Some people think that some of us think that clowns are terrifying, right?
Mhm.
So it's all about the emotions that evokes. And if social media is gearing itself to evoke even stronger emotions all the time in order to prop up engagement, then we're not in control of the experience. We
Yeah,
have to
really good.
maintain that consciousness.
Really good point. I mean, because it's the emotions that are engaged. Our emotions are, largely functional. They point us to subconscious needs, wants, or desires. They point us to that. And so when social media kind of like invokes emotions, as you put it, and it then, like you put it, the context of dreams is so interesting, because you put it into two different contexts in terms of dreams. How engagement with social media is almost like lucid dreaming. And I'm going to add to that. I read an article recently. I think the title of the article is some saucy little headline like, when did everybody start becoming so performative? And so, like, hot topic right now, performative authenticity, all these 2025 buzzwords of social media. But to be on social media is inherently performative. I don't care how you slice it. You can minimize that all you want, but it's true. Just like working at a job is performance on some level, right? Like on some level, it's performance. So whatever. I'm not, I don't want to
Mhm.
open up that can of
Yeah,
worms, but
it's a
the other
neutral
side of
term.
the yeah, right, exactly. So the other side of the coin with the dreaming is, paying attention to the, like, in terms of interpretation, paying attention to the emotions that it evokes, because that changes the meaning. Well, that's just like everything in real life. Like, we
Meta.
encounter some, yeah, we encounter something in our experience, we observe it with our senses, and we have a thought and a feeling about it, which leads to the meaning we apply to it,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, keeping that intention, like you said, like you recommended, and I mean, I'm going to really focus on this myself. I have a very limited participation on social media, always have, always have. So I have a little bit of a bias. You can probably tell in my voice and my demeanor, I have a bias against social media. I don't, it's got its
I like
positives and its
really
negatives.
appreciate that about you, actually, because I can bounce these things off of you and you're like always putting me in check. Like, April, this stuff is not real. Like,
Well, yes and no, though, because I'll tell you what happened. I got on Instagram and decided, you know what, this is not
oh,
just some
yeah.
like tool for the destruction of like psyches and society. Like, there's some good here too, right? Like,
Hmm.
let's get real. So I'm gonna try this or whatever. But I tell you what, I'm not gonna say it ate me up and chewed me up and spit me out, but I feel like I went through a fast forward process of what everyone who's been on social media for 15, 20 years, the whole
That's
time. I
right.
did it in a space of like 3 months, and all of it, like all of the comparison and like the blah, 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 blah. Like, it's huge.
It's horrible.
So abuse, abandonment, I mean, these are funny words to stick with this. Like, I really had to chew on this topic. Like, um,
Are you ready to
and
do
to
the?
me, it just, yeah, yeah, let's do it. And so that is a good segue into kind of like what I was saying with my take on it, because I am going to address a little bit more of we're moving from an outwardly focused into more of an inwardly focused orientation around this
Yeah,
topic. So
great.
if you'd like to participate in today's hypnotic meditation, just find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Doesn't matter, whatever is comfortable. Find a comfortable position to be in. It's really good if you can have your feet on the ground, actually. So maybe seated is better for this one. Today is the winter solstice, at least in the northern hemisphere. And while we're getting ready and getting settled in here, I'm going to invite you to grab a blanket, something to cover up with, something to warm, even if it's just like a sweatshirt, something, just something to kind of cover up with a little bit. And there's a good reason for this too. And feet on the ground, there's a good reason for this too right now. I'm also trained as an acupuncturist. So Taoist thought is really like infused. I've infused my brain with some of these concepts, and the winter solstice is really a good time for us to turn inward, and for us to, the winter season is the time where we need to protect. If you're into qigong or Chinese medicine or anything like that, I don't want to use the jargon, but it's to protect the yang. And so we're going to do a little bit of that today. But in Chinese medicine, in Taoist thought, the winter season is associated with the water element, it's associated with the kidney system, it's associated with the emotion of fear. So as you're getting settled in, just a couple words here. To me, when I was contemplating abuse, abandonment, algorithm, all this stuff, like whatever the emotional roots or the emotional causes behind abuse or abandonment, often the resulting emotion is fear. When we're abusing ourselves or someone's abusing us, it can create fear readily. We fear abandonment. When we abandon ourselves, we can become fearful. All kinds of things. So I'm really focused in on fear here. And let's just get started. Now's the time to relax. It's the time to release the worries and the stresses of the day, of the week, of the season. And allow yourself this few minutes to relax more deeply with every breath that you exhale. And just know that there is nothing for you to do right now. You're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. The winter solstice is a time where we can focus in on deep quiet and deep restoration. So just tune into that for a moment. And imagine a wave of relaxation flowing now from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your feet. We're just priming your imagination. Let it flow all the way down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Good. Now, find a spot on the wall that's above your natural eye gaze. Eyes open, upturned, looking kind of like this. And really eagle eye that spot. As you take in a deep breath, focus in on that spot and notice every last little detail, the texture, the nuance, the light and the shadows. And as you take a deep breath out, look through that spot now, as if you could look through the wall or the ceiling. Notice the corners of the room. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Good. Now relax your jaw. Just let your jaw go. Nothing for it to do right now except to rest peacefully. All the little muscles in your jaw, just let them relax now. And gradually get yourself into a slow rhythm of breathing. Nothing forced, no need to count. Just breathe all the air out of your lungs with a longer exhalation. Good. Slow, relaxed breathing, nothing forced, nowhere to be, no role to maintain. Good. Now relax the back of your tongue. See how relaxed you can get this part of your body. Just allow your tongue to rest peacefully, relaxing the back of your tongue. So often we're prepared to speak, we're prepared to reply, preparing to respond. We're decoupling that part of your brain that's preparing to speak. allowing you to enter into a deeper, more resourceful state of mind and being. Good. And as you take in another deep breath, bring your attention to the surface beneath you. Tune into that feeling of gravity holding you to the surface beneath you, gently, evenly. It's always there. We rarely pay this close attention to it. The feeling of gravity itself. And you might even get a sense of the quiet presence of the whole earth beneath you, allowing you to settle in even more comfortably. And as you take in your next deep breath, bring your awareness down through the surface beneath you, through the floor, grounded, supported, down to the very center of the earth. And just notice that steady, ancient downward pull, the direction of embodiment. Now, as you take in another deep breath, let your awareness rise back up through your body, bringing up some of that feeling of groundedness. And you now send this feeling of groundedness and relaxation from the very tips of your toes all the way up to the top of your head. Up, 1, 2, 3. And your awareness can keep rising out the top of your head into open space, vastness, up to the very center of the universe, whatever that means for you. And notice that upward opening, the direction of transcendence, inspired, light, connected, free, and in this moment, literally connected to all that is, all the loving guidance. Know that an all-encompassing love fills you and your environment. You are deeply, deeply loved. On your next out breath, bring that deep feeling of connectedness back down. Bring both directions back towards you, down from above, up from below, and let them meet right here at the balance point of the heart. Don't force anything, just noticing what happens when you bring your consciousness into your heart and allow the embodiment and the transcendence to commingle in the very center of you. That grounded, supported feeling of earth, that inspired and connected feeling from the heavens, perfectly mixing and commingling in this balance point of your heart, right in the center of you. And imagine a warm golden light surrounding your body, and it fills you with an even deeper sense of tranquility and peace, almost weightless. Very, very spacious. And as you focus on that sense of spaciousness all around you, it's almost as if you can't detect where your body ends and where the rest of the world begins. Good. And feel this light washing away any tension or stress in your body. In fact, there's one place in your body that just can't wait to relax. Let it, leaving you in a state of deep relaxation and stillness. And as you focus on just a slow, relaxed rate of breathing, you notice just how still your body and mind can become. And you get just still enough to start to feel the flow of life all around you. And just drop back into it now. Drop back into that flow and just let go. Feel it. Now, notice that a part of you feels especially warm and cozy right now. Maybe it's a hand, maybe it's a foot, wherever it is in your body that just feels especially warm and cozy. And notice how when you tune into that warmth, it allows you to feel just how alive every cell, every muscle fiber, every nerve in that part of your body is. You may even feel this life force buzzing there. Notice that warmth, notice that aliveness. And if it had a color, what would it be? Don't overthink it. Whatever comes up now is exactly right. As you breathe, naturally and slowly, let that color that represents that warm, cozy aliveness seep deeper than muscle, deeper than your fascia, deeper than your nerves, all the way. Let it sink right down into the marrow of your bones. Like your bones themselves are just drinking it in, warming from the inside out. Let it reach these deep places, ancient places, these types of places in your body that learned fear a long time ago. Good. Now, imagine a time where you have abandoned yourself. You checked out. No need to delve into the particulars. Just imagine yourself at that time now. Send that color that represents that warmth and aliveness right into that version of you and let it infuse every muscle, nerve, and cell of that body all the way down to the bones. Good. And as your awareness fades, let that scene fade away and you go even more deeply relaxed. And noticing that that warmth just radiates. And it's radiating now into every part of this body. Every part of that body, the head, the arms, the feet. Feeling that warm, cozy aliveness. Expanding your awareness to encompass all of you and letting that color follow, infusing every muscle, nerve, and cell of your body. Imagine now a time where you were abusing yourself in your own mind. You don't have to relive what you were telling yourself. You know how it feels. You know exactly how that feels. So I want you to move that color with the magic of your mind into that version of yourself that was speaking those harsh words to you. Let that color infuse every muscle, nerve, and cell of that body all the way down into the bones. And as that awareness fades, you sink even deeper into the surface beneath you, relax even further, comfortable, warm, cozy, buzzing with life force all over. Just tune in to that buzz. And you might also imagine the color. Once again, let this color that represents warmth and aliveness sink deeper and at the same time expand outward. While it's sinking deeper into the marrow of your bones, it's expanding outward to encompass your room, sinking even deeper inside to the very center of your heart and expanding outward to encompass your whole house or the whole area where you are right now. And just rest. notice it's very difficult to feel fear. So the next time, if it's okay with you, as we move forward in the year, when we get more and more light, every time you notice more daylight, it reminds you of this warmth. And it reminds you how warmth inherently pushes out the cold, and how this warmth can inherently help push out the fear, so that you can feel this aliveness, this fullness of life within you, where there's no room for the fear. And that aliveness will protect you when there's real danger. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I get to 3, you'll emerge from this hypnotic meditation feeling amazing. 1, feeling that warmth back in that one part of your body where it all started, that warm and cozy feeling. It feels so good. 2, bringing your attention to the sounds around you in your environment, outside of my voice. Feeling that aliveness in your feet, in your hands, wiggling your feet and toes. And 3, opening your eyes, right back here, feeling amazing on Subconscious Sundays. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Tim. Okay, wow, that was such a trip.
Oh, good.
Okay, so
aren't our minds amazing that we can do this?
Do you mind me sharing what happened when I joined
Please
the
do.
meditation? Oh my goodness. So I was really getting down on myself in the meditation, like starting to go into a place of self-abuse. Like, did that fly land on my forehead, on my third eye, to tell me that my third eye is full of shit? Because I started this whole episode off talking about how this time of year, like for whatever reason, winter solstice for me is like making me really grouchy and really grumpy and really bitchy and really snarky. And now like a fly lands in the middle of my forehead and tells me, hey, your third eye's full of shit, you know? And I started to kind of go there, this self-abuse place. And you were talking about like, think of a time when you were like self-abusing. And I'm like, I am right there right now. And then you said, what did you say? You said, think of that warmth as buzzing with life force energy. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I was like, oh, hey. So then I moved that violet color up into my third eye and let it clear, let it clear, let it clear. That buzzing with life force energy. I was like, that's very interesting.
Now that you've had that experience, if you want, you can use it, and to great effect, mind you.
Yeah.
Anytime you're noticing that self-abuse, that violet buzzing in your head, your body knows it. Your bones know it. You can use it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for getting me out of that space of being like, oh God, that was so embarrassing. Oh God, everybody's going to know I'm full of shit. Hey, if anything, I endeavor to be authentic and not as a mask. I can't help it. It's just the way I'm made. To my detriment at times, but it all works out in the end. So links are down in the description of every video to where you can reach out to us, either one of us, and either one of us to get with both of us on a plan for your own connecting, your own interconnecting. I still offer spiritual counseling for the time being. I don't have any available appointments until 2026. So happy new year, everybody. So if you do go to my link, it will be the first available appointment will be in January. I would love to connect with you. And Tim, how about you?
Yeah, my link's there too. Schedule a consultation with me. It's free. We can have a conversation about how you might like to use hypnosis to make a change in your life. If you want to pull on your deeper resources and have access to those, hypnosis is the best way to do this. So
And to change
let's
habits,
talk.
mental ones or physical ones. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. As you saw from my example today, I broke a mental habit right here on Subconscious Sundays. And as for working with me this time of year, these feelings of having this of pressure that we put on ourselves to have like resolutions and make big life changes is actually counter to the mood of the year, which is stillness and rest. So, if you want to go into a more in depth look at yourself so that you can gradually start making gentle changes and have a witness to that, Tim and I are here for you. Connect with either one of us. That is what we're here to do. Introspectiveness, conscious intention setting. That's what we're about. So we need to sign off now and get back to our holiday merriment. Merry Christmas to all of those of you who celebrate. Happy solstice to all of us who celebrate. And Happy New Year to you all. We'll see you again in 2026.